why is everything based around freedom and free markets and limited government?
Well, it's because we believe, first of all, that that's the most ethical and moral set of beliefs for guiding a social system and the political process. And second of all, we believe that if those views are put in place and that social system is guided by those ethical principles, that we will also get, as a happy byproduct, we will get greater economic growth, more wealth creation, and from top to bottom. In other words, everyone will be better off. From the lower income, will have higher incomes than they otherwise would have, and the upper income. So it makes the entire society and the welfare of society across the board much better off. It rises economic tides.
You just mentioned a key phrase, economic growth. There is a very important section in Agenda 2012 that looks at policy prescriptions to grow the economy. Tell us about that section and the elements in there and why it's so critical to this whole program.
Well, the state for many, many years, certainly as long as I've been working at this and for years before that, has focused on what they call economic development. And what I argue in this section is that whole focus needs to be changed. Economic development is a top-down, central command kind of approach to the economy. We need to develop this area, so we need to throw money and tax credits, and it's really a form of central planning.
And most cities and counties and towns actually have departments devoted
to
economic development.
And the state does. I mean, the Department of Commerce in North Carolina is an entire department devoted to economic development. What I argue is we ought to erase that entire focus and talk about economic growth. We want policies that don't target individuals and typically at the expense of other individuals, which is usually what these programs are all about. We are going to tax somebody more so we can say tax somebody less or give a subsidy to somebody. But what we need to do is have general policies, whether it's in the area of tax policy, which we can talk about, regulatory policy, and so on, that will allow the greatest number of entrepreneurs and businesses and investors to flourish so that we can advance what economists like to call GDP, right? Economic growth overall, which will create the most amount of jobs for everyone, not just targeted areas and businesses. And this is really, this whole economic development notion is really where the word crony capitalism comes from.